Welcome, everyone. Today we'll be playing some additional games with the yellow YumYum deck. The list we'll be using, which you can see on the right here, is very similar to the one that I used when I created the deck guide. I'm going to leave a link to the deck guide in the description below. The only change I've done is I've added 4 check the yellow pages, which allows you to draw additional penguins. And the reason I've done this is because I often ended up being short on penguins and also having a lot of extra penguins laying around not producing pudge. So even though this card is not very efficient, it can get hit by check the yellow pages. So I do think it's a pretty good addition. And the cards I removed is I removed 1 BuddyUp, 1 Inspiring Story, and 2 Not Your Keys. All right, let's jump into some games. Okay, looking at the mulligan, we have, yeah, let's see, we have a pretty good hand to start. So yeah, we definitely will want to keep the GotEm. And then we want to keep the Prepare for a Wild Night for sure for card draw. Then let's see. In terms of penguins, I think this is a good hand. The Wizard Penguin is really strong because you can then draw with Wild Night very easily with it. And so, but yeah, I think I'll keep this entire hand because I have found that I'm often running out of penguins when I'm running this list. So this should kind of prevent that issue from happening. Well, at least holding on to all 3 is a good start. So the one thing with this hand is we didn't have a flying penguin, but we just drew one. So I think that's really good. All right, so we'll start with the rod because it's always good to play the rods first, and then we'll play the flying penguin. And yeah, that's a good first turn. So I think one question to think about is as we're getting into the second turn, like, do I want to be, hmm, yeah, like, will I want to be playing, yeah, I think I'll be wanting to play the wizard penguin. The one thing is if I draw flying penguin, maybe I'd try to accelerate out, prepare for a wild night, but I don't think that that's really going to be necessary. Just because, yeah, just because this deck is really more of a slow deck where you're trying to you're trying to kind of control the board. So especially because we won the vibe check, that means that we got the rods, and so I don't think it's really yeah. So I think we'll just play a wizard penguin and pass. There's no reason to to ramp out quickly. We don't even have if we had an inspiring story in hand, then we could think about it, or maybe a penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes. But given the current state of our hand, I think it's good to just play it a little slower. So we still don't know any information about what our opponent is playing. And I think that's one thing that's really important with this deck is to make a game plan on what you're going to use as rods. Now, we didn't have a choice on putting this Lucky Penguin as a rod. Basically, Lucky Penguin is one of the all-stars of this deck, and I don't think there's ever a world where I would be playing this as a rod. I mean, of course, I was forced to because it came from winning the vibe check. All right, so we won another vibe check. And so that's pretty good. Or yeah, so it is kind of nice in this situation because it means we can play 2 drops. Now, I do worry we're going to run out of cards, but I think that's also one of the reasons why I like that we put check the yellow pages back in the list because it will enable us to draw cards with prepare for a wild night that would get check the yellow pages and let us get penguins. So, I'm a little hesitant to use Buddy Up as a rod here, but okay, so what's the alternative? So I think do want to play definitely pot stirring because that way, if prepare for a wild night catches another prepare for a wild night or check the yellow pages, I'll be able to play both of them. So I think we will. I think because we have prepare for a wild night, we'll get rid of Buddy Up our finisher and we'll just hold the penguins for now. We'll play the daydreaming just to make sure we have 6 pudge so that we can play both spells next turn or play the spell if we end up drawing it. All right. So I think we've had a really fast start, which is not really what this deck is designed to do. So we're a little bit at the mercy of top decking. I do think that I'm hope that the opponent plays something this turn so that we end up not winning the vibe check. Because okay, so ribbon dancing. Okay, so we're playing against red. So one thing with red is we do want to think about removing their wizard penguins because red really needs pudge. So I feel pretty good that we already have a GotEm and a daydreaming penguin. Now we did cut 2 what's it called? 2 not your keys from the list. So I think that this is one of the matchups where that could be detrimental. All right, so heads I win, tail you lose. All right, so if they make me discard the wizard penguin, it's not the end of the world. I mean, yeah, I think I'd rather. Okay, so we'll discard the wizard penguin. It's a little sad, but that's just, I guess, how it goes. Okay, so we got the YumYum already. So and we got so 2 cards is not bad, but we didn't draw additional card draw, which is what we really wanted. And we're gonna not even win the vibe. We're gonna not lose the vibe check just because, yeah, now that we played the pot stirring, or yeah, now that they flopped the ribbon dancing penguin to play heads you win, tail. What's that card? I've never even seen heads I win, tail you lose. All right, well, either way, so what we really need now is we need one of the big penguins. Like we need inspiring story um or what's it called? Or pots or yeah, or penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes. Okay, so we have the yum yum already. So the question is, do we play daydreaming out? That's a good question. I think we'll just hold it in our hand because there's really no benefit to playing it out. And if we do end up having to yum yum, we want a lot of penguins in our hand. So ideally, again, with this deck, we're looking for we're looking for cards that work well with after a yum yum. So those cards are Lucky Penguin, which is really good post a yum yum because then you get a penguin back. Inspiring Story is really good because it stays on the board. And then also, let's see what else is good. Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes. So you have those 11 or 12, those 3 synergy cards, and we're running 11 copies because, right, we cut one Inspiring Story to get the check the yellow pages. But I think, yeah, I think in this case, I'm even not so sad that we're not running or that we're not running Inspiring Story because in the matchup against red, it's really not that necessary of a card. Okay, so I think we'll pass. It's good that we're going to lose the vibe check here. Well, we'll see if they play any actions because if they play any actions, then they might flop the ribbon dancing penguin. Okay, so they're going to trust fall. They're going to cycle their trust fall. So, okay, so I think that's okay. We don't mind that. Let's see if they then play something else with the ribbon dancing penguin. Because yeah, so cycling the trust fall doesn't really impact us in a strong way here. So overall, I still feel, yeah, we don't have the tools we need to close out the game right now because we either want to play a yum yum turn that's very impactful and then quickly come back after that turn. Okay, so now we're going to win the vibe check again. So that's a little unfortunate, but I guess we still get one draw and they're only at 7 points and we should be able to knock them down to 5 points by using our GotEms. So I don't think it's the so maybe this is some sort of red Bismo deck, like that's just trying to hyper cycle. It could be that. So if it's a red Bismo deck, this is a deck that I've theorized myself, where you're just trying to cycle through your deck as quickly as possible. And red actually has some of the best tools for doing that. Okay, so we got another Prepare for a Wild Night. And so we have 6 Pudge on the board already. But I think, should we play this Daydreaming out? I think now that we got Prepare for a Wild Night, we will play it because there's a chance we're going to get a lot of additional cards this upcoming turn because, right, Prepare for a Wild Night. Right now, let's look at our rods. All right, so we're missing 1 check the yellow pages and 1 Prepare for a Wild Night 2. So there's 5 targets. So there's 5 things that could hit that would make us get additional card draw. So out of 36 cards, there's 5 targets. So, okay. All right, so they played Peace Out Penguin. So things could get pretty spicy soon. So we don't really have a good answer for Peace Out Penguin, but okay, so let's draw the cards. If they play Peace Out and, yeah, take out 2 of our penguins, then we might be in a little bit of a trouble because we won't have the Pudge available in order to play Yum Yum. But I think this is not a board that we're ready to play Yum Yum on yet because it's just going to be an even match. Okay, and so here you can see the situation where we got a second Prepare for a Wild Night. Now, I'm a little hesitant to play it actually because Not Your Keys will be good to use against the Peace Out Penguin. That being said, I'm a little yeah, so okay, so option 1 is we save the Not Your Keys so that we can use it on the Peace Out Penguin after it gets activated to cancel it. But I kind of think that if they were going to do something, they would have put it on this stack. So I think we just go for it. I'm really trying to dig here because the reason we're doing it this turn is to have more options next turn. Like if we get a check the yellow pages, that would give us a lot of optionality. to then play check the yellow pages. Okay, nice. We got to check the yellow pages. All right, so we have a bunch of cards we can use as rods now. So yeah, so that's the other thing that was nice about this. So hopefully they won't use the peace out penguin, because if they use the peace out penguin now to get rid of two of our cards, then that'll be kind of detrimental. Well, no, I think we could still recover, but okay, so it didn't happen. So moving forward, we're gonna try to hold on to 4 Pudge so that we can play Not Your Keys to counter the peace out penguin. So all that being said, I'm a little bit how are we going to win this game? So I think one path to winning is actually to not play YumYum. So okay, so one path is we're going to play YumYum. So we're gonna let okay, so they're gonna overextend quite far. So I think this might just be a just plain YumYum game. So if we just play YumYum, okay, so we'll definitely use one YumYum as a rod. Yeah, okay, we definitely don't need that. So I think we'll hold back the Daydreaming Penguin, and I think we'll just play YumYum this upcoming turn, because they're gonna be down to just one card in their hand, and even though our hand isn't strong, so okay, so the question is, if we play Daydreaming, we can play Check the Yellow Pages and YumYum, right? Because we have 3. Yeah, so we'll do that. It's a little sad because or we're basically saying if the expected value of this Check the Yellow Pages, because we basically threw 1 Daydreaming Penguin. No, this was a bad play. I shouldn't have done this, because we're basically saying the Check the Yellow Pages needs to have an expected value of more than 2 cards, because we're losing the Daydreaming and the Check the Yellow Pages in order to get 2 cards, and I don't think that that's statistically likely. So that was definitely a misplay. We should have just played it slower. There was no reason to rush through this, but let's see how many we get. All right, so we got 1. So overall, that was not good for us. Okay, so the question is, yeah, so they're at 14, so we definitely have to YumYum here. I wasn't even paying attention to their point counter. So that's something that, yeah, that we should have been doing. Okay, so they're gonna play best seats in the house. Okay, so they're gonna have 2 cards in hand. I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in hand, and we're gonna be up 1 rod and 2 cards in hand. But yeah, so this is really looking like maybe some sort of like Bismo cycle through your deck type red, or some sort of swarm red. I'm not really sure, but okay. Anyway, we've reset the game a bit. All right, they have the Baron. So, so what do we need now? Yeah, we still haven't really found anything except the low end of our deck. So the rest of our deck should be pretty heavy. So what would be really great draws for us? We really would like, hmm, yeah, Penguin That Doesn't Mind Goodbye. Inspiring Story could be okay, or any of the card draw cards. So we do have 3 rods, so a lot of small stuff they play we can deal with. But yeah, this has been a very weird game because we really only saw like the top half of our deck. Okay, so we got a Penguin That Doesn't Mind Goodbyes. So that's really good. The other really nice thing about Penguin That Doesn't Mind Goodbyes is red does not have a lot of good answers um to yellow. Okay, that was a mistake. I should have definitely played BuddyUp as a rod, because I really am just trying to close out the game now before they can recover and get back on board. So we could have had 1 more rod out there, which would have put us at 12, which means we would have been able to maybe close it out if we drew a penguin. Yeah, so that was definitely a misplay. Luckily we drew the pot stirring penguin, which is very good in this situation, because what the pot stirring penguin enables us to do is have four pudge so we can play Not Your Keys. But again, if we still had our check the yellow pages in our hand right now, I think that would have been really strong. So, yeah. I think overall it's not a bad setup. I think we're gonna win, but I think there were a lot of bad plays in this game. So yeah, because if I would have played the rod, I would be now on 14, and that would be basically winning the game, and would have forced them to do something, which I don't know if they could even do that. So I do think this is one of the challenges with playing as the red deck is once you get knocked off board, it's really hard to come back on, just because such a high portion of your deck is actions. All right, we have all 4 got 'em. So if they play anything small, Oh, this is perfect. Penguin, who's late to the party, comes in. It has 8 vibe. So overall, I think we're in a really good s- good state to win this game. So yeah. So not so yeah, so this was really weird because we didn't see any of the payoff cards really for YumYum. I mean, we saw a penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes now, but it was very late. It was after the YumYum. We didn't see any lucky penguins, and we didn't see any. Oh, okay. So what do we have here? So we have the Chabolus. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Chabolopolis. But luckily, we have not your keys, so we can take out that, and I think we should be in a good state after taking that out. So luckily, oh well, we also could have had BuddyUp. So even if because I know we cut two not your keys from the list, so having the BuddyUp um, replace it was a you know it was still not strictly necessary to have the not your keys. So overall, okay, so good good game, and yeah, I think this kind of was the general game plan you're always trying to follow with a yellow Yum Yum deck, which is you play out your penguins, and then you play Yum Yum. All right, nice. All right, looking at our hand, I think this is a okay. So the question always I have with this deck is, do you keep Yum Yum? Like if you have a not a good hand, so everything else is definitely a throw. But and it's gonna be interesting because we have three buddy ups in the deck, and we're putting two on the bottom of the deck. So we'll need to know that we're going to have to be very careful with our final buddy up. But hmm, I think we need to throw Yum Yum. I don't think you can keep Yum Yum just by itself. I think if you want to keep Yum Yum, you have to have a stronger hand that has multiple at least something in it other than just a Yum Yum. I think it's better just to start from scratch. Okay, so we ended up with a much, much better hand. All right, so I think the best rod, so we definitely don't want to use Prepare for a Wild Night as the rod. So I think the penguin who's late to the party, which is generally a late game penguin, even though you can play it in the early game if you have to, it's much better in the late game. So I think we'll play that first as a rod. So yeah, so I think this is and then yeah, again, I think like the previous game, we'll be playing this a bit slower. Like I don't know if we need to really ramp out to Lucky Penguin. I think we can basically just slowly go to pot stirring and then lucky. Let's pay attention to the rods we draw because if we end up drawing what's that rod? Buddy up, then we'll need to know that so that we can plan our game accordingly, knowing that two of our buddy ups are on the bottom of the deck and the other two are yeah, the other one is well, we'll see where it is. Okay, so we drew not your keys, and I think we need to be a little careful with not your keys this game, just because it without the buddy ups, we're going to be a little more constrained with how we can react to their board state. So not your keys is definitely going to be a lot more valuable than it would be in a general game. Okay, so we're playing yellow, and it's good that they're winning the vibe check. That's going to give us a little more flexibility with which rod we play. And ideally, we're going to play out the Lucky Penguin, which will give us then 4 Pudge. And with 4 Pudge, we'll be able to play Prepare for a Wild Night. And then hopefully with that, we're gonna get some Yum Yums or something else. Yeah, or check the yellow pages would be good. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more check the yellow pages belongs in this deck. So I think I was wrong to not put it in my deck guide. And I think check the yellow pages is on its own, it's not that strong, but where it derives its strength is as a target for Prepare for a Wild Night. It makes Prepare for a Wild Night even better, and it's already one of the strongest cards in the deck, and even the game to add that. So yeah, okay. So what are they? So they're yeah. So they're not playing. Are they playing anything? Okay, so they're playing Inquisitive. Okay, so this is probably more of like the starter deck. And okay, so we got a second Prepare for a Wild Night. So okay, so we're gonna have spells upon spells. And so I know I said we'd be careful with not your keys, but we're gonna play it. And I think we're just gonna have to rely more on Yum Yum. So I think against the yellow deck, Not Your Keys is also a little bit weaker just because they generally have a lot of threats. Like, it's not uncommon for them to have, like, a shy penguin and 2 extrovert penguins. So, alright, so we'll make sure to play this, and we're gonna flop the Lucky Penguin just because we don't wanna win the vibe check, because we're not in a rush to ramp out our rods. I don't Yeah, because even if we were ramping out rods, we would still be a turn away from Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes. So, overall, I feel like yeah, I feel like we're in a decent spot. Um, yeah, I think so. What do we need? We're kind of missing the mid game. So oh well, we need a YumYum because yeah, I think it's just really hard with this deck to overpower the starter deck without going through a YumYum turn, just because the the yellow deck has so many more threats in it. The YumYum deck is really it's really, I mean, the reason it's called the YumYum deck is it's all about YumYum. So I don't yeah, I don't really see yeah, I think it's there are some games that you end up not playing it, but I think this is not against a yellow deck, it's pretty rare. And in the games where you don't end up playing it, okay, so we got a really good check Prepare for a Wild Night because we got a GotEm, which will be a good rod to play. We got a second Prepare for a Wild Night and to check the yellow pages. So the question is going to be, can we get to 6 Pudge next turn so we can play 2 of our card draw cards? And I'm not sure that that's possible just because, yeah, we need to draw a penguin. We need to draw a 2 Pudge, a 2 fish or less penguin. I mean, most penguins in this deck are 2 or less. I think there's 4 of those. 4 or 5. So there's seven penguins total, but one of them is okay, so we did draw it. Okay, okay, also we got 2 draws because we lost the vibe check. Okay, so we'll be able to play 2 of the card draw cards next turn. So let's think about so the question is, do we want Penguin Who's Late to the Party in its big form? Because there's a chance we could do that, but I don't think we want that yet. Because hmm, yeah, because if we start winning the vibe check, then we might lose our final buddy up. And I don't know. Okay, so yeah, so they play another Mysterious Penguin. It's really good they weren't able to flop our penguins. Okay, so we'll play GotEm as the rod. We'll definitely play 1 pot stirring. And so we have 6 Pudge here. So do we really need to play out more penguins? That's a good question because we don't really like right now, we don't have a finisher. So Penguin who we're probably going to do Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes into YumYum into a rebuild. So I would rather save Penguin Who's Late to the Party for that and pot stirring. So I think we're just going to wait. There's no rush. Again, this deck is more of a controlling deck, so you're never really wanting to kind of rush out quickly. Instead, you're just playing slowly and controlling the board. Okay, so we'll start. So in general, you always want to start with Prepare for a Wild Night. And the reason for that is we're in the action phase. And in the action phase, we have the um what's it called? We have the option of oof, 0 total brick. So that's a little sad, but okay, so in the action phase, right, we can play actions, but we can't play penguins. So Prepare for a Wild Night will give us potentially a different action that we might want to play. I think in this situation, it doesn't really matter because, yeah, like we'll probably still end up playing Check the Yellow Pages no matter what. But maybe there is some situation where it does matter. And so you always just want to build these little micro habits because every time that you like, do these micro habits correctly, it just means that they're going to become natural, like almost muscle motion, and that will enable you to just automatically do them when you're playing. Okay, so we got some more penguins. We still don't have a YumYum. All right, so we still don't have a YumYum, and we don't. Okay, so we've gone pretty deep into the deck without seeing a YumYum, without seeing a. Well, we saw an inspiring story, so it's really the YumYum we're missing. So, okay, so let's see. Or did we get our YumYum as a rod? No. Okay, so I'm trying to think of okay, so if we get the other BuddyUp, then that might be our win condition too. So we have 1 BuddyUp. Okay, so we got the YumYum. So I think we're definitely on the slow plan. So we'll probably go for Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes into YumYum. So let's see what else they play and how quickly they play out, because if they continue playing really slow, then maybe there's a world where, because once we play Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes, we're going to start winning the vibe check. Okay, so we got a second YumYum. We won't need two YumYums in this, because with this deck, especially against yellow, you basically, if you win, you win or lose by the first YumYum. So, okay, so we're at 9. So how many penguins do we have? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I'm almost wondering, yeah, but if they play a shy penguin, then we won't be able to close it. So I think we just play it a little slower. I will play the Daydreaming Penguin, I think. Just well, no. Um, hmm. Yeah, do I want to play anything else? Or am I committed to this line of going really slow? But the problem is they have so many cards in their hand. So I think we're gonna go the really slow line. Like, we're not in a rush. They're only on 8 points. And right, to maximize right our win rate, we should really be thinking we should just be playing slow, reacting to them. So maybe this is even a 2 YumYum game. So okay, so if this is a 2 YumYum game, then maybe I should hold on to the next YumYum that I get. So maybe I'm not sure about that. So we'll have to watch that. All right. So okay, so they still, I think maybe part of the reason that they're holding so many cards in their hand is that they have a shy penguin. And if they have a shy penguin, they need to play another penguin with that shy penguin. And so potentially the situation is that they need an activator for it. And so let's say that they have a two-fish penguin. That two-fish penguin will be waiting for the shy penguin. Okay, oh, we still have a prepare for the wild night. So let's play that. Let's just keep drawing deeper in our deck. I'm actually wondering if we're going to actually approach those buddy ups that we put at the bottom of our deck. Because remember, with a yellow card draw, all the cards that you miss end up getting put on the bottom of your deck. So I think at this point, there is, okay, so we got a single GotEm. So there's probably 4, 5, so 9, 10, 11, 12, like 12 or so cards. So I think our two buddy ups are around 20 cards deep right now. I I think it's very unlikely we're going to get that deep. Although maybe with Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes, things can get pretty wacky. So we'll see. All right. So while we're waiting, let's talk a little bit more about the different cards that work well with YumYum, because right, that's a namesake of the deck. And so right, there's really three cards that get really good advantage from YumYum. The first is Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes, which we have in our hand here, which basically says whenever another yellow penguin in your huddle is iced, draw a card. So that's going to enable us to play YumYum with Penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes on the board and draw 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. One thing you have to be careful with is the opponent can remove the penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes to cancel the effect. So it's often a game of like a delicate dance of chicken around when the penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes gets played. But okay, so we're tying the vibe check. Oh, so did I? Ooh, I flopped the wrong penguins. I should have flopped the lucky penguin because I'm trying to lose the vibe check. So that was a mistake. But, okay, so but we're gonna play the penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes this turn, because the nice thing is if I'm not forced to YumYum, I can always do that to react. So I'll have the penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes on the board. They play like a NotYourKeys to try to ice it. And then, yep, this is exactly what I thought. So this is why it's good we didn't go all in, because the shy penguin would have been bigger than the penguin who's late to the party. Okay, so we'll play the GotEm as a rod, and we'll play the penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes, and we'll pass back. All right, so we're not in a rush to play our YumYum either. They're still at 10 points. What we really are looking for are more of those advantage cards. So we have the penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes on the board, and we have the lucky penguin, which is another really great card with YumYum that the deck is built around. Because when lucky penguin gets iced, you can pick a penguin card, yellow penguin card from your ice with vibe 2 or less, and put it into your huddle. And this does two different functions. The first thing is it allows you to win the vibe check after the YumYum gets played. And first of all, it's just having additional penguins so your boards doesn't start from nothing. But then also, when you win that vibe check, it really works well with Penguin Who's Late to the Party because then you basically win the vibe check and then you can have one penguin on the board, you play another penguin, then you play Penguin Who's Late to the Party. All of a sudden, you have an 8 vibe penguin that they will often have trouble responding to. So we also want to make sure we keep playing a rod every turn, which is why it's really bad we missed it that turn because we have so many cards in our hand. We're going to YumYum. Unless the one time we wouldn't YumYum is if we drew another if we drew the other BuddyUp. But let's see if it's become a rod. No, so it still hasn't become a rod. All right, so they're playing extrovert. Okay, so this is good. They're slowly committing to the board. They're on 12. Okay, so we want to play. Do we want to play check the yellow pages? So we'll play that this turn. Okay, so we'll definitely play, and I think the Wizard Penguin is a good rod, just because it enters flopped, which is definitely weak for this part of the game. We don't really need to play any other penguins on the board. Oh, well, we should play one more, I think, because if I do check the yellow pages and then they do not your keys, I want to be able to respond with YumYum. So there's 3, 4. So I need one more Pudge on the board. So I'm gonna play the Flying Penguin. And so the reason I'm doing this is so when I play check the yellow pages this turn, that's going to enable me to then, if they in response, not your keys, the penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes, in response, I will YumYum. And if I had one less Pudge, I wouldn't be able to do that play. And if they not your keys, my penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes, without me playing YumYum, it's going to be difficult for me to close out the game. Well, I still probably can do it, but it's going to make it a lot harder. So okay. So the good news is they're going to win the vibe check. Well, maybe actually we want to be winning the vibe check because we're just trying to get a lot of rods out because the rods post YumYum stay around. Okay, perfect. Lucky Penguin is exactly what we needed because that means that after we play YumYum, we'll have another penguin come back onto the board. So overall, it's shaping up pretty good. So I think, yeah. So I think we're definitely in a good position to win this game from here. Okay, and so we were talking about the whole just structure of the YumYum deck. So we had the Lucky Penguin, which is again one of the namesakes of the deck, or one of the reasons why we play this deck. The other card that we are playing for, so we have these two cards here, and then the other one is Inspiring Story. Unfortunately, there's not an Inspiring Story anywhere right now I can show you, but the Inspiring Story basically is a 5 fish cost relic that says all of your penguins get +2 vibe, or at the start of action time, all of your penguins get +2 vibe. And the reason that that's really powerful is when you play YumYum, your relics stay on the board. And with the relics staying on the board, that just means that you'll just be able to have more left, like after the game. Like after the YumYum, you'll still have a board left. So you'll have a board like some penguins with lucky penguins, and then the inspiring story will still be there boosting them. So it's really just about trying to be in the strong post YumYum position. But I think we're gonna have to YumYum this turn because they're on 14. So if we don't YumYum, they're gonna end up winning the game. I do think we're hoping that they're gonna commit a little more. But okay, so they committed a rod, which is the exact opposite of what we want them to commit. Okay, so we got a GotEm. Always play the GotEm as a rod because that's the only thing it can do. And we'll play the Lucky Penguin just because Lucky Penguin works really strong with YumYum because it will stay there. And we're gonna have to YumYum this turn. So if we're really lucky, they're gonna play some sort of spell, but I don't think they will because that's not the optimal play for them at this point is just to pass to us. And I think this is another really, really important concept that works for pretty much every deck in Vibes, which is if you're in a situation where you're going to win the game, don't take any actions. Like just pass it to your opponent and have them take the first action. Now, there might be some edge cases where that's not the case, but the reason you do that is because okay, exactly. So by playing not your keys, that enables me to play YumYum in response. Had they waited, had they passed to me, I would have been forced to play not your keys or forced to play YumYum. And then in response, they would have played Not Your Keys. And so because of the order that they did this in, I now will get I will draw these cards that I wouldn't have drawn otherwise. So that was definitely a misplay on their part. And I don't think it's gonna cost them the game because I think I would have won anyway. All right, so we got our final buddy up. So I think in this post YumYum turn, we're just gonna go for it and we're just gonna win next turn, I think. All right, so we'll get the pot stirrings back. The reason we're getting those instead of the flying penguin is just because they produce 2 pudge. Not that I think I'll need the pudge. The only penguin that I'm going to or only thing I need pudge for is BuddyUp, which only costs 2 pudge. So 1 pot stirring is sufficient, but I think it's better in case you have a removal spell or something like that. So, okay. So I'm gonna win this vibe check, and yeah, so let's see. So now this is the post YumYum turn, and here's why we held on to Penguin Who's Late to the Party. Because now, right, we're gonna be able to play it, and because they have no penguins, it comes in with the vibe counters on it. So let's just go all in. So we need to make sure we get to 14. All right, we'll play. Okay, now we have 2 buddy up. So we'll play 1 buddy up as a rod. I think we'll play Daydreaming in case we need removal. We'll play the flying. All right, so we're just gonna go all in. Um, maybe this was wrong. Maybe we should have played the penguin that doesn't mind goodbyes and the penguin who's late to the party. I don't know. I think I went too hard. I guess there's a world where if they had pot stirring, flying, YumYum, this would have been not the right like yeah. And I think when you're in a point in a game like this where you're so far ahead that you really want to think about really what's the edge case? What are the set of cards that I could lose to? And now you can see now I'm going to win if I pass. So I'm just going to pass because I have 8 vibe. They have 6 vibe. So we should be in a pretty good position. All right. So overall, we win the vibe check. And yeah, that'll be the game. Cool, cool. All right. So, and yep. So we'll win. We have above 15 when the game ends. So yeah, so I think another good game, another game won with YumYum, which is good because that's the namesake of the deck. Thanks everyone for watching. If you like this type of content, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have any suggestions for types of video you want to see, decks you want to have me make, or guides you want me to do, just find me on the Vibes Discord or just write in the comments. Thanks everyone.